Hey, what's up, dudes? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video. I have another theory for you guys today. Now, I have talked about this before. I did do an entire video on this a while ago, but I did want to update it with the new information that we have and with the fact that a mid-chapter survivor has just basically been confirmed just by the release of this chapter. Well, not technically chapter, it's a paragraph, and that's kind of the point, but we'll go further into that here in a little bit. So before we get into that, I would like to ask you guys if you do enjoy the video, if you are updated, informed, or entertained, please consider leaving a like on the video. I really appreciate it. It helps out a ton with visibility and means a lot to me. And also, if you want more DBD content like this, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I upload daily videos almost, only if there's like literally nothing to talk about will I not upload. But besides that, daily videos. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So what am I talking about? How is a mid-chapter 21.5 survivor confirmed by the release of Pinhead, by the reveal of Pinhead being a paragraph? Well, there was a leak from DBD Leaks not too long ago that says, I can say with 99% certainty that the new Survivor is original. New Survivor, for some reason, is not going to release with the 5.2.0 patch. It is instead tied with the 5.3.0 patch. This means instead of one chapter, we'll get two paragraphs released for 5.2.0 and 5.3.0. Killer release for 5.2 and Survivor for 5.3. So what does this all mean? Well, of course, I'm going to state the obvious real quick for you dudes. We're getting an original Survivor when it comes to the mid-chapter patch, and that hasn't happened in a very long time, if at all. You guys might correct me, and probably will correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong, which that is welcome, but I don't think we've ever gotten a actual new Survivor or killer in a mid-chapter patch, and since it was structured around the time of Ghostface. Now, there's been a lot of speculation around this Survivor already, around this mid-chapter Survivor release, and the main theory is that they split it up like this for the introduction of the next major mechanic into Dead by Daylight, which is the Boon Totem. Now, we don't know much more than what the design director of Dead by Daylight has offered, but it's not much at all. He said Boon Totem perks will give a brand new interaction to a survivor standing next to a dull totem in a trial, and you can get a little bit of information off of that. Of course, the Boon Totems are going to be helpful. If you guys don't know the definition of Boon, it is a thing that is helpful or beneficial. So the Boon Totems of our course. So the Boon Totems, of course, are going to help the survivors in this case. And I'm thinking that's why they might have split the killer and survivor up here. It's unfortunate we didn't get Kirsty, but I'll take an original survivor that introduces a new cool game mechanic. And I even think they were designing Pinhead around that, because one of his major perks is to get rid of these Boon Totems. I don't know if you'll get the benefit if they stay up. I don't know if you'll get the benefit if they go down, if you break them. We're not entirely sure on that yet, but it seems like Pinhead's perk, Hex Plaything, was kind of designed around getting rid of all the hex totems on the map. But what's the theory when it comes to Survivor? If there's going to be a survivor that introduces a mechanic like this, of course they could just do an entirely new original survivor, not have any connections or references or whatever else, just entirely new and build onto the lore. But what if I told you there's some speculation and very tinfoil crackpot theories out there that might connect to an actual killer we have in the game?
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, I know, put down your pitchforks, it's really tinfoil. But let's take a look at this archive cinematic from this tome. In this cinematic, you see someone running away from a giant spider creature. Now, it has not been 100% confirmed to be Evan McMillan, aka the Trapper, but there are other pictures of him in other animations, cinematics for other tomes, and the model is basically the exact same. If you don't know a whole lot about Evan McMillan or the Trapper's backstory, he's got one of the most interesting backstories in really Dead by Daylight. He was originally a survivor. He was not a killer when he was brought in by the entity. All the hooks in his character model are all of the times the entity actually had him killed, trying to turn him into a killer. And it eventually worked, of course, but he still had that time span where he was a survivor. So I'm thinking possibly they could be teasing something like that with his animations and his cinematics, and it's something we haven't seen in Dead by Daylight before. Now, it's crackpot as hell, I know it is, but Evan's a pretty big character in the story, and they're introducing another major mechanic, and people have actually asked for an Evan McMillan survivor in the past, since we found out so much about his lore and him actually being a survivor, and you can even see his early stage of trappings in the cinematic when he makes a trap to actually kill the spider. Now, the main theory that built off of this was, you know, the spider will be a killer, the spider will be chapter 21. Of course, that didn't end up happening, and I don't think they would do a giant spider as a killer in the game because it mechanically probably wouldn't work with how the game works right now, but I still think it could be interesting. Is this likely at all? I mean, it is possible. The entity, there's lore there. The entity is pulling Pinhead in and pulling Pyramid Head in, all these different characters. So really it can go into like any timeline, any point in time, any alternate dimension, and pull in these characters. So it could literally go back in time and pull the survivor version of Evan McMillan into the future and make him a survivor alongside his killer self, and you know, it just be kind of a paradox, which I think the entity is fully capable of doing, paradox and all. Now of course the theory is the crackpot part of the video. That is nowhere near confirmed at all, but the new survivor in the mid-chapter patch is looking very almost basically confirmed with everything that's been right so far from DVD leaks. All we have to really do is check out what releases with the Pinhead chapter, with all the skins and everything, and then we can really build off of that from there. But I'd really like to know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Would you be interested in seeing Evan McMillan as a survivor and a killer at the same time? Would you like that cool dynamic and the lore building there and further building on what the entity can do? I'd love to hear your comments down below, or see your comments down below, and reply to all of them. Let me know what you think about all this. Give me your theories on who the survivor could be, and give me your theories on how they could introduce Boon Totems. I think having Evan McMillan, such a big character to the Dead by Daylight story itself, introduce such a big mechanic like that in such a new way, with literally creating a paradox in the game and showing that the entity is this powerful, it can basically do anything. I think that'd be a cool way to introduce such a new game mechanic, something we haven't seen in the game for a long time. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. That's gonna do it for me though. Thank you dudes so much for watching. My name is Totem, I've been your host, and I'll see you dudes next time. Peace out.